Hi, this is Martina and this is Knitting in Italy. I guess this is going to be the last episode of this year, and this is also the occasion to wish you a very good holiday season. My name is Martina, maybe I already said that, and this is a knitting podcast coming to you from Milano, Italy. I'm an Italian knitter, and so I have a little bit of accent when I talk, and this is a bit of a spin-off of my other knitting podcast that is Parliamo di Maglia, that translates literally to let's talk about knitting. And in this episode I will show you my latest finished objects and my work in progress, my latest yarn acquisitions, and I wish also to give you some ideas coming from my very own watch list and playlist to enjoy, a very nice and warm festive knitting time, maybe in front of a screen. I really like to watch shows and Netflix and all the other streaming platforms while I knit. I always knit when I'm watching something, so I will share with you some Italian ideas and also some international ideas. I know that a lot of the viewers of this podcast are foreign people living in Italy. Of course, there is my Italian podcast if you want to improve your Italian, and this, is my experiment just to connect with more and more knitting people. So the first thing that I want to show you is, of course, my completed shawlography. I really enjoyed knitting this, and I really liked the result. It was my first Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West, and it was amazing. The yarn is part from my stash, the pink one, and this lilac violet, and the other three colors, the burgundy, this blue and the yellow, are coming from Dark Omen Yarns, that is an indie dyers, a very nice indie dyers in Italy. The battery is dying, so I have to change it. I come. Okay. Speaking of my work in progress stuff, no, I have one other completed project. Is this beautiful sweater. This is the Fern and Feather by Jennifer Stengas. I knitted it in Plotulopi, one strand of Plotulopi. It's this unspun, beautiful Icelandic wool yarn. You have to get a little bit of a grip with it. It's not immediately easy to find the right tension, but once you get into it, it's really satisfying. It's so light. This is a small. I'm making this, and the other one I'm making, that I will show you in a moment, for my cousins. They are these beautiful young women, and I'm so happy to give this to them as a present. And I only use two wheels and a little bit more, just to complete the final centimeters of the sleeve. 2 wheels of Plotulopi. Amazing result in my opinion, and it's so light, and I bet it's going to be light and warm and perfect for hiking and being outside. The other one that I'm making is the Winter Sol, always again, I'm sorry, by Jennifer Stengas. This is a bit of a different construction because it's an hybrid. It's the yoke is worked from the bottom up, and then the sleeves and the body, I'm knitting the body at the moment, are top down. I love it. The colors are more or less the same. Of course, here you have the gray as well. This is the undyed colors, and this wool, yeah, I'm absolutely in love with this wool. Jennifer saying, as you know, sometimes you think that, more or less she makes always the same projects, but in the end, I think this is, I think, the fourth project I'm doing from her, and I always find, very interesting and different construction techniques and bits of very nice knitting, and very enjoyable, and they fit so well in the end. I love them. The other thing that I'm making is this famous balaclava. In the end, I bought a pattern from Einrum, that is a knitting, it's a knitting company, a yarn company. This is a very nice project because it's lined inside. Here you have a double layer of knitting. The pattern is quite well written. I'm doing it in a very bouncy merino, nothing special. It comes from this quite fun, actually a small yarn mill in Italy, that is Lane Polo Nord. They always have different batches, and they don't have the same collection year after year. It's it's a yarn that is a good value for the money that you pay, but I would never make a wool sweater with this because it's so heavy, and it's the classic superwash that when finally you wash it, it blooms and it becomes huge and unwearable. And I'm knitting it at a much tighter gauge, and inside layer I did with some alpaca from drops that I had as a leftover, and I think the result is coming very nicely. I really love the use of the ribs on the down on the inferior part. You have the ribs that gives you a nice elasticity, and up you have this plain stockinette section, and I think it's going to make a very practical, very nice piece for my husband that is biking back and forth Milano. It can be quite a cold winter, so he goes by bike and he needs a nice protection. My other work in progress, I will not talk about them because they are absolutely abandoned at the moment. I want to finish at least one, and then I will not take my work in progress, but I will start another project from Hayley Hodge, my good friend. She's an expat. She lives in Florence, but she's from the United States, and she's a knitting designer, knitting and crochet. And a few months ago she was so kind and she sent me this yarn support to start and crochet one of her projects, and I never thought about this. I never talked about this in my podcast because I was a bit of ashamed, because I don't have a great relationship with crochet. But she was so kind and she sent me this yarn. This yarn is from Borgo dei Pazzi. It's Genio. It's wool and bamboo viscose and kid mohair. It's a nice mix, and it has an amazing metrage because it's 50 meters for 150 meters. Yeah, it's, it's there is quite some yarn in this little ball. It looks also finer than it looks. It's one ply. I like this kind of yarn for accessories, not so much for garments, because I find the pilling a bit excessive for my taste. But this is going to be a test knit that I will make for Hailey, for her Aurisma cowl. You can find it on you can find the preview pictures on her Instagram page. You can find all the notes to the show on my blog page, parliamodimaglia.it. There is everything is in the description box. So this is going to be my next project once I finish either the balaclava or the sweater. I think the balaclava is going to be first. And then I have some yarn acquisition. People following my Italian podcast know that I struggle with an ever-growing stash, but sometimes I just can't help myself. So a few weeks ago I was in France, first time out of Italy since COVID. It was so emotional. We were visiting some friends in Grenoble, in the Alps, in the French Alps, and I found this little shop, this yarn shop that is Lane Tricot. And I came home with some local yarn, this beautiful powdery pink. It's Angora and Merino and Angora. So it's 19% Merino di Arles and Angora, 10% Angora. And the yarn company is Boucle Laine, and I loved it. I really loved it. And then I found some yarn that I wanted to try since quite some time. That is the Yawool by Lang. It's a very simple, to be honest, very simple sock wool. I love a good bunch of sock wool. I like the shape that these skeins have. I find it quite peculiar, and I got myself this little palette of colors, good to make contrasting heels or sock cuffs or the toe part, and also to mix and match and do some color work with these colors. Yeah, I really like these colors. And then I'm having my advent calendar by Knit Victim. The Knit Victim is an association active in Italy that promotes knitting and the culture of knitting, focusing on Elizabeth Zimmermann work, but not only Elizabeth Zimmermann. And they have this amazing calendar. This is the first year that they made it. I hope they will do another one next year. It's so well curated, and the things are amazing. So it's part yarn, and you can see I'm talking about, this skein is the size of my head. This is Aquilana. It's 4-ply, and it's 200 grams for 400 meters. And it's from Aquilana. Aquilana is Italian yarn company with wool from Abruzzo, that is a region historically known for sheep, and it's one of the finer Italian wools that you can find at the moment. In terms of Italian native breeds, this is the best that you can have. And so I got 2 giant skeins of these, and then I have these little cakes, not so little to be honest, a yellow, a blue, some red, it looks more orange but it's more of a red. In the video it looks a lot of very orange but it's red, and this green, and these are all naturally dyed by Valeria Gallese, that is the person behind Aquilana. Then we are getting the wool, then we are getting a kind of a mystery knit along that I'm not making, but that I will, with little clues from Dario Tubiana on a project to make with this wool and these colors. And then also we are having accessories, knitting accessories, and Katia, I think it's one of the main sponsors of the association, is always present in the events that they are making. So we got this little nice fabric pouch, and then various things. Yeah, we had also some embroidery thread, wool embroidery thread, because Dario is very strong on embroidery on wool. Then we got some stitch markers, always from Katia. This is my favorite. This is my favorite shape for stitch markers. I like this shape. And I like the fact that you can open them, and also I really love this, a nice pair of scissors. I cannot say that. Forbici in Italian if you're interested. This one, very nice, black scissors. I like them. I have a collection of scissors, so. And then also I wanted to show you this button. This is from Francesco Mangia. It's an Italian artisan. Very good stuff. I have my mending mushroom was made from him. Is this one. I'm mending socks lately, so yeah, I don't know if this can be interesting, so I can save money. I save money on socks to buy yarn. Then yeah, I'm of course always watching or listening to something when I'm knitting, and lately I'm listening to this audiobook on Audible. It's The Golden Notebook by Doris Lessing. It's an amazing novel. It's like a classic, and I never had the courage to face it because it's so complex and it's so intimidating. But I found the red version, and sometimes it's just good, and it's a good way to just face a big huge classic, is to listen to it, and while you are knitting, or it's just another way to enjoy very complex, very daunting literature. Then I had some I'm doing some classics rewatch. I'm rewatching ER, but maybe I already talked about this. I'm rewatching Friends. I know that I don't know if Friends is still on Netflix for some users, but in Italy it's still on Netflix. And then I'm watching the Monty Python Flying Circus is on Netflix in Italy, in the Italian version. Then if you want to learn Italian, this is not maybe the best thing to start with, but there is the new animated serie by Zero Calcare, that means I don't know calcare in English, whatever. Zero Calcare is an Italian novelist and comic artist. is quite amazing. I suggest you look him up, and his series is not very easy because it's in dialect from Rome, but I think you can put the subtitles and it's quite amazing. And then I'm rewatching also another classic from some time ago, from a few years ago, that is Desperate Housewives. It's the kind of shows that you want to enjoy during holiday season. They feel like, a good pair of slippers, and you just watch them and they make you feel good. And you know where everything is going, and yeah, I like them for this reason. So this is all for this very brief episode of Knitting in Italy. I hope you enjoy and you spend this holiday season, in the best way that you can. And I hope that you are, safe and you are good. And I wish all the best to you. And I will see you next time, maybe next year. So, bye.